Record. Welcome to our beautiful community, all those ones that are following Margo and I. It is Margo and I again for a bit of a chat with you today, hopefully to share some learnings. Um, the subject that we're on today and the things that we'd like to talk about is mastering relationships. Mastering relationships. When I think about that word or those words, mastering relationships, what does it mean? Or and when I think every engagement, everything we do in life is about relationships. When you think about it, whether that be with uh, brother, sister, mom, dad, significant other, but we tend to get on when we're talking about being with anyone else in relationships. But today, Margaret and I just want to focus in on the relationship that we have with ourselves. So, self love, if you like. And I'll let Margot sort of kick us off in that area of self love. What is it that we want to know? What is it that we want to share with you about that? Margot, hey.
Mhm. Hello, my awesome buddy Mark. You're amazing. And, self-love is something we're not taught when we're younger. It's often confused with selfishness. And most people try to get love by giving
Mm,
love as an
mm,
exchange, kind of like horse trading.
yeah,
And imagine this, that you had your very last dollar or your very last pound or peso in the whole world, and you went to the
right.
library and you're sitting at a table and you have it sitting there because it's your last one in the whole world. And all of a sudden, someone walks by and takes your last dollar. How do you feel? Pretty devastated. Now imagine if you had $1 million
Mm,
sitting there on the table. Someone walked by and took one.
right.
Go ahead and have a few. It's no loss. And that's where we need to learn self love. If we are
Mm,
full of love, of unconditional love for ourselves, then we have plenty to give. We don't run out. We don't have to trade it. We can just give and give and give. So,
yeah,
how do we go about that self love, Mark?
yeah, yeah. No, go without. No, it's I think one of the things that well, when listening to you say that gave me a bit of goosebumps. I'm wondering because I was having this little moment there, and I was thinking, I was like, wow, well, a lot of that has to do with how we feel about ourselves or the things that we can, and unfortunately, in reality, but let's change that, guys. Let's change that. Meaning, and what I mean by that is let's look at how awesome we are as a person. You are awesome. And so let's start rediscovering your awesomeness. And one of the things that I think we can do as individuals is make a list. Don't, and this is where Margot said earlier, Margot, you was talking about sometimes we get confused self-love with selfishness, and it's really not. But we need to step into our magnificence. And the thing that I think that can help us do that is by actually creating a list for ourselves of awesomeness. So how awesome are you? Just create a list and at least write down 10 things. 10 things that you feel make you awesome. Why am I awesome? And step into that, own that. You and not to make it up because you know who you are. But once, and we talk about helping others or loving others, or the first thing we have to do is love ourselves. We have to, dare I say, fill our cups, our own cups, first. So I think that inventory of awesomeness is a great place to start. Yeah. Hmm. Why,
Absolutely.
yeah, and just on the back end of that, how do we, Margot, how do you think we get to a place of Do you think we, as and I'm speaking to our audience, and I ask our audience as well, what is your definition of unconditional love? Where do you think, or when do you think you've learned it? It's come to you. Have we been conditioned in any way to love the way we do? What say you, Margaret?
I think the things that stop us from unconditional love are conditioning, the model of parenting. And
Yes.
unfortunately, a lot of it is societal. When you're a little tiny baby, you're getting your diaper changed, you cry, all your needs are met, everything's unconditional. You throw up on the brand new suit of your dad going to work, and he's like, oh, that's what babies do. So
Yeah.
there's no, your love is not taken away. But then
Hmm.
once you start hitting the terrible twos, it starts becoming behavior modeled. And then you get in trouble if you don't obey. And it's a balance because you certainly don't want children without any discipline, but it teaches us that our earliest memories, around 4 or 5, that we had all of this conditioning. We needed
Hmm.
approval and acceptance. So we're always looking to receive love from outside of ourselves.
Yes.
And we've
Yes.
not learned, we've not been taught how to love ourselves.
Yeah. That's a great point, Margot. That's a great point. I think that, and I think that what we can take away from our discussion today, hopefully, is that, you know, we need to factor in um, the conditioning uh, that we've all gone through because we've all been born. We're not able to sit here and enjoy this together if we weren't. We've all come into the world. We've all had parents, good, bad, and ugly, and the way that we have the examples that has been set that Margot has just talked about is, yeah, when we're a child, a baby up to about 18, 24 months, we can do no wrong, meaning we can do anything and we would receive love unconditionally. And then we start learning that love has conditions as we get older, and I'll love you if or when you do the dishes. I'll love you if when you take out the trash. I'll all of those things that we all experienced growing up. Um, and I would just like to underpin what Margot said. We simply have not learned how to love ourselves. And there could be a couple of reasons, a few reasons, but I just touch on one that really gets me unstuck at times. And that's when we get caught up in the good opinion of other people. Now, we have a little acronym for that, which is called GOOP, but that's the good opinion of other people. So when we're caught up worrying about what other people will think, are thinking, not thinking, etc., we it's very hard, very difficult for us to have a functional relationship with who we are because we're always caught up in that pool of what others may or may not be thinking. And the truth is that I'll just go ahead and share our truth on that, Margot, if you will permit me. Most people don't care enough about you to bother to have an opinion. And that's the truth. They are too worried about wondering what you think about them in the same, in the sort of same way. So we're all caught up in ourselves, but then at the same time wondering or then caught up in, well, what will Johnny say? Or how would Sue feel about that? Or this, that, and the other. So interesting, interesting dynamics there, you know? Mm, mm.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's just a truth that sets you free. Like they're not worried about it. They're not thinking about you. And even if they are, it's their problem.
Exactly.
We don't have to dwell on that. And just our inventory of awesomeness. You are
Yes.
awesome. You are
Yes.
beautiful. You have
Yeah.
a one in, what is it? 1 in a million chance or less of actually being born. And we have almost 40 billion cells in our body that
Yes.
have 500 reactions every second. We're just a marvelous machine, and
Yes.
we're just amazing creatures. And just learning to be grateful. I think unconditional love and gratitude are the highest levels of
Mm,
consciousness. So being grateful for who we are, and being grateful that we are the flower that we are, because society tells us, you know, roses are pretty, so you should be a rose. So you need to put on rose perfume and wear rose clothes.
mm,
But uh, wait a minute, I'm a tulip and I'm trying to be a rose. Tulips, roses, there are no ugly flowers in the garden.
no,
Be who you are in your beautiful awesomeness. Don't worry about these societal images of, what you should look like and feel like.
absolutely. Absolutely. Here, here, Margo. Here, here. Okay, guys, we just wanted to keep this session short today, um, and just share with you some of our thoughts as we walk through, as we step through this mastering relationships subject. Next call, we'll look into that a bit deeper, and we'll talk about how uh, we may or may not have, um, well, how we master time as we perceive it, time. Um, so we would like to thank all of you, as we do, and we're very grateful. We're very blessed, humbled to be able to share with you some of our thoughts, some of our learning, some of our thinking about this subject, mastering relationships. Until we see you again, we wish you much love, much awesomeness, because you are awesome. Uh, until our next call. Thank you.